Scott, for that introduction. Michael, how are you? Andy, how are you?
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up?
We're good. We're good. So just want to thank everybody for joining us. A few slides to get through, and we get right into this presentation. So Andy Lindloff and myself, Chris Varley, we're with Trade Ideas stock market scanning platform, and Michael Katz, CEO of Trade the Pool. Let's bring up some slides and show us off here. Michael's been trading markets for a very long time. He is a veteran trader, very systematic trader, and him with another company called The Fivers have started a stock trading prop firm. There aren't really any out there. What they do is very unique, very special. Michael will go into some more detail of that in a few moments here. Andy has been trading markets for a little over 25 years, actually one of my personal mentors. Andy is more of a swing trader himself and has, really kind of started to see it all over the last several years, everything that we've been through. Myself, I'm a self-taught trader. In 2017, I decided I wanted to learn how to trade stocks and got a crash course for several years on how difficult it really was before making a little bit of a turn there and making my way into positive territory with that. Shortly after that, Andy was good enough to reach out, knowing that I knew the Trade Ideas platform so well, and offered me to join the team here with Trade Ideas. So we've got a really great webinar ahead for you folks. Hope that you find some great quality and content out of it, and we'll get rolling from there. So if we may, I'm going to kick it off here, share my screen with you all here. And one of the first things that we want to do here is go into a linking of a Trade Ideas platform and the Trade the Pool platform. So anybody that is a subscriber with Trade Ideas through Trade the Pool, you have this ability where if you were to click on any of the scans here within Trade Ideas, a price alerts window, alert window, top list, so on and so forth. And if you're not familiar with these terms, feel free to ask some questions. We will reserve some time at the end for Q&A as well. What we like to showcase here is just the seamless ability to go back and forth between your orders and the Trade Ideas platform. So the first thing I want to do here is bring up how we make that link happen. On the Trade Ideas menu bar up top, we start by going to Tools and Options, Tools and External Linking. I'm going to get a window that looks like this, and we go Create Add Link right there. And it's going to ask you to hover your mouse right over your target window. For linking on Trade the Pool, you're going to want to link into a chart. You'll press the Shift button as it asks right there. And we can see up here, it's now linked to Trade the Pool. And you can see here, I have a yellow here on the chart and a yellow here in the order entry. So those are linked together. Now, anything that I click within Trade Ideas will now load over into Trade the Pool. Makes for real nice seamless order entry. Regardless if you are a day trader, you're in and out fast scalping, you're a swing trader, it's nice to have this seamless ability with these two platforms so that you're not spending time navigating back and forth between screens, having to overclick if you've got the right order entry box. It's one click takes care of all of it for you with that very seamless link that's there. I wanted to spend another couple of minutes here before we turn it over to Michael and just go over a little bit of what I do with the platforms here. So within Trade Ideas, we have charts. Within Trade the Pool, you're going to have charts too. And one of the things that I like to do with this Trade the Pool platform here is I have this extra chart that's here just before I'm going to click a buy or a sell, just to make sure that I'm really, I'm looking at that chart one last time, that I want to confirm and that I have conviction in that trade that I'm getting into. Where do those ideas come from? Well, that idea generation comes from the Trade Ideas platform here. Like I mentioned before, we have several ways to scan in the platform. I have a personal preference of what we call our stock races. They're very customizable, and the one that I have shown off here, and I'm happy to share it with anybody, and I'll share a link with this as I wrap up my presentation. I'll put that into the questions panel for you folks to grab that cloud link in a moment. What I've done here is I created a relative strength from the open scan. I like to look at stocks that whether they gapped up or gapped down or just haven't gapped anywhere, but they're strong from the open. I want to see that there is conviction in the market in these particular stocks. Will everything that comes through be gold? Of course not. No scan shows nothing but gold. That's where we have to be traders. We formulate plans with the ideas that are coming through. What I really want to highlight with the stock race here is the fact that you have live data on the left. Now, of course, we're in the aftermarket, so things aren't going to be quite the same as they are during the regular hours, but things that are moving and they're on the left, those are things that are going to be the most active. We can see right here, as a matter of fact, SWIN in the post market here is doing a little bit of movement here. And we can even see on my single stock window, we've got some volume here on some different metrics here. And if I were to bring up the post market on this chart, we're going to see that this movement is going on right here. So live, moving right now. I've got this idea generation that's happening. Right side of this scan here makes for a wonderful watch list throughout the day. So if we look here, I've set this race up with certain parameters that there's a finish line after X amount of time. Again, all very customizable this. We see that SWIN is 118 races for me. So this is a great watch list. We can see that SWIN was active throughout the early day, hung around through the later in the day, never really sold off like the rest of the market did. And just to illustrate that, just bring over a SPY chart. We can see what a 15-minute SPY chart. We sold off into the close. SWIN did not sell off into the close. In fact, moved up into the close and after the close as well. There's some other stocks here that did well today on this. You highlight those. And again, why this makes such a great watch list. We'd see EXAI, just a beautiful climber for the first couple of hours in the market here today. Something that was a little quicker to be in and out of, but you know, traders of all walks are idea generating. You have UPTD, another one, real quick move, real large moves in this. These aren't stocks that everybody trades. These aren't stocks for everybody, but the idea generation is there. NEPT, another one here, same thing. And if you're following along, you can see that these charts and the order panel here within Trade the Pools terminal is updating along with this. And again, another one, some quick hits in this one. Again, these aren't for everybody. Want to highlight a couple of other things that I use the platform here, and then I'm going to get that over to Michael really fast here. I use a position lifetime range. We want to find strength, stocks that are making new all-time highs. There is little to no resistance above them once they're near that all-time high. So it's another scan that I use throughout the day. I also use this scan to kind of judge how strong or weak are we in the overall market. Sure, we can get a pullback, we can get a correction. How many stocks are hanging around near that all-time high? The more populated this list is, again, there's some other metrics behind it. The more strength or more weakness with the less stocks that we see on it, that we see there. Last but not least that I want to highlight here, some different ways to look at market breadth, intraday and longer term. Created a 30-day market breadth here. So I'm looking at 30-day new highs versus 30-day new lows. It does count the weekends in there. That's why I've used 30 days, but it's looking at essentially 1 month's worth of data. It gives me a good sense of, are the buyers with conviction longer or short term right now? We can see this has been running all day. We had a lot of bearish action today, right? We have a couple of other ones that are more intraday based on market caps. We can look at where smaller caps and larger caps have been and are headed throughout the day. This just kind of helps, you know, I think Michael or Andy would agree that gives us a snapshot of, are we on a risk on or risk off kind of day, meaning are we in the profits? Are we holding on to those profits and taking some, closing some of that trade? Or are we letting those profits run because we're more on a risk on type of day? And these are the different things that we can combine and do between the Trade the Pool platform and the Trade Ideas platform. I don't know if Michael or Andy has something that they want to add or questions or comment on any of this.
No, I totally agree with you. There's several different ways that you can use the platform, whether you're a day trader, whether you're a swing trader, it doesn't matter. You can customize the platform to your style, that's for sure.
Fantastic, fantastic. So Michael, if you're ready, I will go ahead and pass this over to you.
Thanks. I see we have a few questions in the chat, if you want to take them as well.
Relative strength window different from biggest gainers from the open window. They have similarities to them, John. They have similarities to them. You know, each one of these is customizable, so that biggest from the open, that's going to be something that was created by the rest of the team that was here and put into the platform. I decided to take a little bit of a different take on this. And again, when I pass this over to Michael in a moment as a presenter. I'll go ahead and share those links and you can open those scans and have a look at them if you like. I don't want to take up too much time getting into the nuts and bolts of all the scans. Perhaps if we have some time later on, we could do that, but I want to make sure, Michael and Andy have a lot of good content, so I want to make sure that we get to them. Can I share my layout? Absolutely, I'd love to share my layout with you if you give me a few moments. What I've done here with this layout's a little more condensed than what I'm normally using, so I'm going to share 2 different layout links for you folks, and you can kind of go through and pick and choose the scans that you want to hold or kick off of there. Does it work in NinjaTrader, and what data package would I need to have? I'm not sure on NinjaTrader. I'm assuming you were talking about the linking. We can externally link to most platforms. I believe we can with NinjaTrader.
I do too.
Have to test that, and you don't need any data package from us. The data's here. The data's provided. There's nothing else to add when it comes to our platform. That's it. You've got it once you're signed in and once you're signed up. I think that rounds out the questions that we have so far. Yes.
Yes, I think so. If you want to bring back up the stack, and we can show the slide of Michael's presentation.
So go ahead and bring that over. Give me one moment. And so that's going to be the slide for Michael's presentation to kick him off. And I'm going to go ahead and make you a presenter there, Michael.
Thanks.
There you are. You should have the
Right. Yeah, I got it. Okay, can you bring back the slide? Or should I do that? The previous slide that you showed, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has the slide. Why don't you take it back so he can kind of just go over the slide real quick?
Okay.
Yeah, just take back the presentation.
Let's do that.
There you go. I'll let you run that down and then I'll pass it over when you're ready.
Sounds good. Alrighty, how you doing, everybody? Okay, so the reason I'm here today is just to talk to you a little bit about something that I really like to trade, some setups that we use here in Trader Pool. And obviously, as Chris mentioned before, we basically provide funding for stock traders. So let me maybe try to get to know you a little bit. If you're a stock trader, click 1 on your keyboard. Let me know that you all trade in stocks, or if you want to share and say what else do you trade besides stocks, just so we can get to know you a little bit. Yeah, so what we're gonna see today, since we give you funds as our traders, most of the traders, even when you trade in your own capital with a broker, in most cases, most traders won't be able to trade the big techs, right? The Apple, the Tesla, Netflix, etc., because obviously they cost a lot compared to those penny stocks, small caps that a lot of the traders like to trade. So in our case, since once you pass the evaluation and actually trading on a real money, you have enough capital to trade those big techs. And I'm going to show you today some of the trades that I love to do on a regular basis on those big names. Okay, so guys, mostly trading stocks. Hey Shima, how's it going? Yeah, okay, so Chris, can you please give me the permission?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
And you're in.
Nice. So let's see that I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the idea that I'm about to show you should be simple for the guys that already been doing it for a few months or more. If you want to go ahead and share as well and just type in how long you've been trading for, that would be also great, and I will know how to fit the content. So basically what I'm looking for, as I said, are big techs, big companies. I like obviously to see a lot of volume, at least 1 million and above at free market. Then I would look for those companies that basically move in strongly on pre-market, and there is something about them today. the idea for trading this setup on big techs is because in most cases they will move, right? Tesla, Amazon, AMD, Google, they all got great moves every single day, and therefore you don't really need to jump and look for like the hot stocks that in play, because those guys always moving. So interesting to see. 2 years, 2 months. Okay, nice. Alrighty, so let's dive in. I'm looking, for example, at AMD, right? Taking AMD from today. And there are two major things I would look for. One, I will use the 200 EMA. You can see on the right screen, on the right chart, you will see hourly chart with 200 EMA. That's the green line. And on the other side, on the left side, you will see a 1 minute chart, again with the 200 EMA with the pre-market, right? For generally speaking, for stocks that are moving, like volatile stocks, like those companies, or hot stocks that are moving today, in most cases, you would like to see them with the pre-market. So once you're analyzing them, you want to analyze them with the pre-market, because they got a lot of movement within the pre-market that will affect the market trading, like the regular hours trading. So make sure you do that and watch with the pre-market when it comes to, obviously, intraday. So what I'm doing is basically going to the hourly chart and first analyzing it, and try to mark those levels, right? Liquidity levels, supply, demand, support, resistance. We all know those things, especially if you guys, like you said, trading for a year or so. And one of the things I like to do is take the chart all the way back as much as I can and just try to see before the market is open, just try to see where are those levels. So you can definitely mark some of them right here. Yeah, on, let's say, AMD, I'm looking at the $99 or 100, and I can easily mark this level. Obviously, when it comes to any type of asset that you will trade, it will be, in most cases, it will be a range, right? And not a specific point, not a specific price. So you got to give yourself that when you're analyzing and marking those areas of level, not to fall into the trap of just one specific point, right? Because it can easily bounce from it, play around with it, and then work. So make sure you do that. Besides that, you can see right here, the second line that I will put is this level, right? You had a nice bounce from it here, a great resistance. We broke through it just for a tiny bit. Let me zoom in. One candle that broke through it, but right away fall below it, tested it again, dropped down again, and then bounce from it. So I can understand pretty easily, even before the market opens, or that this stock is, those are the two levels I want to pay attention to. Obviously, I can mark levels also below that, just so it will give me the idea where it should stop. But what I'm looking for is a drop in the price, and this is especially for actually, this time of the year, and especially the last few days, the market is dropping down nicely, and those numbers, or those stocks, are also doing the same. So it can fit perfectly to your setups in the next few days or so. And if we will continue with this half bear market, and basically I can mark the levels below it, obviously before the opening bell. So just to make sure, or to understand where should the price stop, right? So you can easily mark this area right here at around 96-ish, where the price should find another support or resistance. So in that case, once I have those levels, I can go to the 1 minute chart. At least this is what I'm doing. I'm trading mostly 1 minute. And what you want to do is basically, again, before the market opens, so you will see it something like that. What you look for is our retest to the 200 EMA with the pre-market, because those guys knows how to move. So with the pre-market, a retest, and then look for the short option, basically, right? The short entries. So the market opens, the price pulling back to those resistance. In that case, you have the 200 EMA and the level that we just saw on the hourly chart. And this is basically where you want to enter. Now, I'm not sure if I have a lot of time, so Chris or Andy, stop me when I'm
Oh,
too.
you're doing fine. Yeah, you're doing
I'm good.
fine. Got plenty of time. Mhm.
Okay, cool. So in that case, it's time to basically risk management, to start trade management, basically, right? So you can easily enter, and this is what in most cases I will do. I will start my entry price right here as it pulling back toward that resistance and the 200 EMA. Obviously, if I'm risking, let's say, $100, I'm not going to risk it in one chunk. I'm not going to click the mouse key and risk the full $100 because it doesn't make sense, especially when I didn't have any confirmation or saw that the price is settling. But I want to start my position. I want to get into my position once I see the pullback to those two levels. Once it did, I can take, instead of risking the full $100, I can risk $20, right, out of the 100. And now I'm in that trade. It will do two things to my trading, and I cannot recommend it more than doing that. One,
Michael, do you
yeah,
mind if I ask you something? You're saying
yeah.
I can risk $20 or so. Are you talking about share size, or are you talking about when you say
Yeah,
you're
so I'm talking
entering?
about, right. So I'm saying basically I have X amount of money that I'm willing to lose on a trade, right?
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
say it's $100.
Okay.
Instead
I
of,
got you.
yeah, so instead of entering right away and risking the full 100, I can start with a small portion, scaling into my position with $20 risk.
Got it.
Now,
Okay.
and when I'm doing so, first of all, mentally, I'm more committed to that trade. I'm more focused on that trade, right? Because I'm already in.
Mm-hmm.
And second, if it will go against me, let's say, I can still add, if the setup is still right, I can still add even here, let's say at $99, I can still add a little bit more because I only lost $20, right? So I'm
Gotcha.
in that trade, but I'm not losing the full $100 that I'm risking. So that's
Okay.
the idea. At least again, what I'm doing. Obviously, trading is super individual, but
Sure.
I can strongly recommend that this is a great way to manage the trade and not be too exposed right from the get-go. So you're in once it pulled back. Now dropping down, you can easily add. You're only with $20 risk, so you can easily add more once it's going to your favor. Dropping down again, etc. Once it dropped, obviously take your partial whenever, depends on the rest of the trade management. In most cases, at least in my way of trading, I will take it just as soon as we will reach either a major support level or volume will come in and increase dramatically at the bottom after a nice drop. So that's the concept of what I love to do, especially on the momentum trades. And as you can see, we're talking about only the first 30 days, the first 30 minutes of the day. So this is also something kind of nice to have, just to start your day with a good trade or finish it with 30 minutes. So that's a nice drop from AMD for today. As you can see,
Let
it
me
reached.
before you move on to another one, I just want to say I love your style because you're not chasing momentum. Okay, you're fading momentum there in the pre-market. Let me ask you something. Do you have a problem taking a position right before the bell opens or right when the bell opens? You
No,
don't have it. Okay.
So right from the bell open, I can easily do that as in AMD. Before that, I can do that as well, as long as I understand, again, the setup and the concept I want to see. So it's all about, trading in general, like technical trading is basically creating your scenarios. Once you see the scenario occurring, you click the mouse key. So yeah, so either a pre-market or market, you can, yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys,
So
this is a great strategy because I mean there's so few good traders who will actually do a kind of a fading strategy like this, to going against the grain, where you're letting the stock come to you and getting your price for technical reasons. He
Yeah.
both has a level of resistance, and he also has a key moving average. So that's and he's smart because he is jumping into a little bit of momentum. He's scaling in instead of just going in with a lump sum and getting shook out. So I really like this style, Michael.
Thanks. And
very much.
that's really the main idea, because you go in before you see any convection. You basically just scaling in, and so even if you will lose on that trade, it won't be the full loss that you thought you would take.
Right. Exactly.
Same concept on Cisco, just from today, right? So hourly chart, again, 200 EMA, hourly chart, zooming in. So this is the gap that it had today, right? You can easily see before the market opened, because you already know where's the pre-market. So you can easily see that it's working that level, right? The resistance level that was there just a couple of months ago, right? Just a month and a half ago. So you can easily use that. Now, besides that, 1 minute chart, crazy drop from Cisco, pulled back to 200 EMA just a few minutes after the market opened, and reached that resistance level from the hourly chart, 200 EMA, and you can easily get into that.
Wow.
Now, obviously, when you first start your trading, you can wait just a tiny bit and maybe not jump right away, because you still feel insecure with that. But once, or maybe after a few attempts, that you will try it and see that it works for you, then definitely go in, risk those 20% out of the full loss that you're willing to take, add to your position once it goes to your favor and you see that the fade is there, and that's it basically.
Well, let me ask you, you've gone over 2 shorts now. Will you also try this on the long side, or are you mostly just a short seller?
So in this specific strategy, I will take it only for short.
Okay.
I did trade some of them to the long side as well, but for, I don't know, unknown reason to me at least, it works better on the short side.
Well, you know what? This could be a very timely webinar, because the way the action we've seen, if we're getting into maybe not a bear market, but a bearish tape, which we could very well be doing, this could be a strategy, guys, that you might want to and don't keep going back to the same well like a lot of people do, and trying the things that may have worked in a raging bull market. Now you might want to start using your backhand, and putting on a different style like this. But very good.
No doubt. I do have a few more examples of that.
Sure.
So, resistance right here, broke it, another resistance, dropped below it today, and also below the 200 EMA on the hourly chart. Again, that's Google on a 1 minute chart. It started the day dropping just a tiny bit at pre-market, pulling back, twisted by maybe 10 cents or even less than 10 cents, the 200 EMA in that case. In most cases, I really like to see it touches it, because a lot of algos are working with the 200 EMA, so they will wait and try to build a position on short or shorting that once it will hit the 200 EMA. But in that case, again, reaching that resistance level from the hourly, the 200 is there. Again, if you see the chart right, just like this, you can easily take advantage and get in right here. and maybe add more to your position once it will bounce up again and reach that 200 EMA. And remember, because you're scaling into the position, and this is by far the most important element in my eyes, that because you're scaling in and risking less than the full amount that you're willing to lose, you have enough space for, let's call it error, and give the stock enough room to play around until it will hopefully work to your favor, right? Taking your partials could be either a major support level or the low of the day in case we made a nice move to the upside before that. It could be also pre-market low, and that will work as well. And again, since you're scaling in, you can easily also scale out to the position from the position and take some along the way. Same, Amazon did the same, exactly the same. And again, hourly chart open with a gap down. You can easily see that we have support level here. Now, this is not that beautiful as we saw a second ago with the others, right? Because this is more of a range. Yeah, this is something like that. But again, we opened with a gap, pulling back for that 200 EMA. And in this case, you can see that it's actually took it a bit longer until it reached that and dropped from it. So the idea could work on both levels. Although it reached that resistance level, one option is to take that short, but in this case, you need to give yourself enough space to add more to your position. So it's a bit more complex. So let's say, so let's say you entered here, right, as you reach resistance, and then you need to give yourself enough space to add more to your position once it will hit that 200 EMA. In that case, let's say you took that $20 risk, it dropped, you didn't, if you add, great, if not, you would have waited until we reach that 200 EMA to add more to your position, for example. This is a little bit more advanced, but the concept is definitely the same. And I love to trade NVIDIA as well. And feel free to ask some questions.
There are a few
NVIDIA,
that have come in, but I
so-
wanted to let you wrap up before we hit into those.
Yeah, so I'll show one more example on that. On NVIDIA, for example, I got it from September 7. So basically that day, it opened with a gap down, pulled back, in that case, to the 200 EMA from the hourly chart, right? And also the area of this level right here. And on the 1 minute chart did the same, very much the same. So dropped, hold on. Okay, so it dropped at pre-market, pulled back to the 200 EMA, and this is again, very classic one, reaching that 200 EMA and dropping from that. In that case, just reached the low and bounced from it. But as you can see, you could have played around with it for many times. So you entered here, added more as it dropped, maybe added more once it broke this nice consolidation, and basically took your partials once it dropped, and maybe potentially reached that low of the day, or sort of low of the day.
No, it's beautiful. It's just really textbook and beautiful looking there on the chart, the way you illustrated as well. I mean, clear as day.
Yeah, and it's kind of simple to recognize it, especially when you're doing it on the big tags and watching it over and over again. It will be easier to just see it happening. You're watching it. You have it all on the chart. You have the support or the resistance level. So you're good to go basically once you see the bounce to the 200 EMA.
So now one of the things I wanted to mention here and bring up is we're working on this scan for you. This scan that, or this setup that Michael's been showcasing here for the last several minutes. We're working on a scan inside Trade Ideas to illustrate this, to point to tickers that are meeting this setup and this criteria. We've got a little more work and tweaking to go on it, but this actually, just watching it illustrated here should help us, and we'll get together with the person that's helping build that and Michael here to really get that nailed in. And you'll be able to, within the Trade Ideas platform, scan for this exact setup clear as day and be able to anticipate these coming. Not that every one of them works, but to be able to get that idea generation, so you're not just always having to hunt chart to chart, you'll get that in the scans. If I can continue to interrupt a second. So you had Juan had asked about about marking. You're marking these in the pre-market, right?
Yep.
So and
So-
then
So it's basically going to the hourly chart to mark the levels, and the pre-market on a 1 minute to find this 200 EMA pullback.
there we go.
or
And
resistance.
then Sean had asked if it was stocks or options. I did mention, but just wanted you to reconfirm that you're just looking at the stocks and this, not the options.
Yeah, only the asset. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ryan had asked if Trade the Pool offers any options trading.
Not currently, no. We do have a lot ahead of us, a lot of plans, but not options currently.
Let's see, Freddie asking about the SME 20. Not sure if they meant SMA 20. Not sure.
The SMA.
Yeah,
when
you
It
put
had to be,
SME.
yeah, it had to be the
Yeah.
SMA.
Okay,
But,
let's add it for a second. But what about him?
That's all he said. What about the SMA 20?
Oh, okay. Generally speaking, so we can add him. Let me see.
What's great about his style is he's not getting tied up with too many indicators, right? He has a simple support and resistance lines, and then one key moving average that he likes to focus on. So he keeps it very simple instead of trying to incorporate and get all the stars to line up with these different, with several indicators. So is
No,
that
we'll
correct,
add
Michael? It's pretty simple,
Yep.
right? I mean,
Yep,
yeah.
very, very simple. And Andy, this is something that I've been using or doing, or the idea at least, is that to keep the chart as naked as possible, right?
Yes.
Because all the indicators are basically coming from or calculated from the chart and the volume, right? The VWAP,
Correct.
the EMAs, the MACD, RSI, whatever it is, they're all been calculated from the chart. So if you understand the chart and you can read it properly, understand the momentum, the shifting between the buyers and sellers, all of that, you don't really need so many indicators. You can definitely use some just to give you a confirmation of what you already understood from the chart and the volume. That's at least how I see it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, Juan asked, so you analyze and anticipate the trades in a 1 hour time frame and then take it in the 1 minute time frame, correct?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm basically using the hourly chart to just get more people to jump in to that trade. Because if you only trade in the 1 minute and rely only on 1 minute support and resistance, it will be much weaker than using the hourly chart where a lot of the guys are watching.
Yes, and then we had someone ask, are you using the MACD for any of your entries or exits?
Right, so that's a great question. I wanted to touch base on that. The MACD sometimes can show you some diversions, right, between the price and the MACD. So it could be a negative or a positive, and it will give you one more confirmation for that. Let me quickly try to see if I have it. But basically, okay, no, yeah, this is not the one. I'll try quickly to see, just to show you how it looks like when it's doing negative diversion. And that way, it will basically confirm or give you another confirmation of what you already understood from the chart. I'm just scanning for a second to see if there is something I can use that relevant to what we just talked about. Hold on a tiny bit. Okay, let's say, okay, we can see it here. It's not perfect, right? But it's still the same concept. For example, when the price is dropping down, and this is for guys maybe not familiar with the MACD, it's what we see below the volume, and the MACD is the difference between the 12 and the 26 EMA and the 9 EMA that is running with them. So what you see right now on the chart is two lower lows, right? And the MACD is creating equal or maybe a tiny bit higher lows, right? Once you see that, that in a lot of the cases will show you that the buyers, the sellers are getting, in this case, the sellers are getting weaker, and the momentum could shift toward the buyers, right? Obviously, just because there is this negative correlation between them, it doesn't necessarily mean that the price will bounce. We need more confirmation and more parameters to help us decide. But generally speaking, if you see that, it might show a bounce of the price. So let's say, going back to the previous example, if the price is dropping down and you took that short, you're in a short position. Now the price is going higher and dropping down again. If you see that positive diversion between the chart and the MACD, that will be a great indication that you can take some partials out or the full position to close the full position. The same thing will apply on the other side. I wish I had a nice example just to show you what I mean by that. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, we can use that. Okay. So look at the pre-market. We're looking at the pre-market, right? The price doing higher highs. This is one high, and this is the other one. Price is moving higher, while the MACD is doing the opposite. High, and the next high is lower than the previous one, right? So the chart and the MACD are not equal. That will be a great indication that the price might drop. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will start your shorting here. You might wait for it until it bounce to your level, maybe to the 200 EMA or the resistance that you marked on the hourly chart. But this could be a great one indication that the price should drop. So this is the way I'm using the MACD just to confirm or help my decision making on on if the price should shift hands or not. You can see it clearly here, for example, in the midday, two highs, the second high lower than the previous one, but the price on the chart actually broke through a new high. Hopefully it helped.
All right, Michael, we better move along because
Okay.
we do have some more content, and I want to make sure we're able to let these people know what the incredible program that you guys offer, because I know there's a lot of traders that are not aware of it. But great stuff, really good stuff.
So we see there's a few questions that are still there. We'll try to circle back to those and get you. Just in the interest of time, we're gonna press forward a little bit with Andy here now.
Okay, and I seem to have lost my. Can you send me the screen share? I don't know why. What happened to mine? Got it. All right, let me pull up the.
We've got you.
All right, perfect. All right, so what I want to talk about today, and it's gonna be brief. Michael was our main speaker. I wanted to make sure, he had the floor for the majority of the time. But I did want to talk about core position trading. Now, I was a day trader pretty much like Michael for 17 years, but getting into other businesses, Trade Ideas being one of them, I just kind of took my time away from day trading. Plus, I was getting up in age, and and I wanted to move over to something that's a little less stressful. And swing trading is a way to do that. And not only that, you can kind of incorporate your styles, you know, because to me, it's all position trading anyway. You're positioning yourself for a favorable outcome. And so about 4 or 5 years ago, I started doing some of this core position trading. And basically what it is, okay, so how many times have you jumped into a stock, okay, for a swing trade or for whatever? It can happen on a day trading time frame as well. And you get out, you take your profits, you get out, maybe you made a nice trade, you took your profits and you got out, only to turn around 3 weeks later and the stock is another 30-40% higher. I know it's happened to all of us. It happened to me. That was probably, you know, my, you know, most detrimental thing to, you know, to my day trading as well. I was real good about getting out of my losses, but I needed to work on letting those profits run. So this is a method that has helped me, and I'm going to be talking about swing trading today, but you can apply the same thing to day trading. So basically, you're maintaining a core position in a stock. Okay, once you have that core position, then you can scalp size around that core position as the stock is moving in your favor. And I'll pull up a chart here, and it'll make much more sense in a minute. So this is a great method for learning how to stay in a trade, okay, because you're kind of taking profits along the way. And last point there, obviously, if the stock breaks down, you want to exit that core position. And let's give an example here. I'm going to give an example of my best trade for the year so far, which was LI. It's a China stock. Chris will tell you that I do like to trade China stocks. I don't know. I've always just traded them well. But if I pull out this chart here, I'm going to show you. It was all
that time you spent there in China.
Yeah, it probably was. It probably was. So looking at this LI, okay, first of all, the key to core trade, I don't core position trade every trade, right? I may only do 3 or 4 of them a year, okay, because the setup has to be right for me. And I'm going to give you an example. As a matter of fact, the other EV stock, NEO, which is one of my favorite to trade. I did the same trade in this one 3 years ago, and it was my best trade of the year. So basically, you're looking for a setup, and if you can see the lines here, I wish I could make them darker, but you can see, even if you can't see the lines, this is performing a nice little wedge over about a 4-month time frame there. And then if you look here, let me pull up my Epic Pen real quick, guys. Sorry about this. Should have had this ready. All right, so if you look, come on, where you at? There you go. So if you look right here, you can see the wedge that I drew right here that it was in, and then look at this volume bar right here. For me, this is like an A+, you know, setup, because not only are you breaking out of this wedge, you're taking out a critical technical resistance level right here in the line. I'm not going to scroll that far back, but you can see a couple of key points there. So my idea is, when I look for these setups, okay, and I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say I wanted to trade this in a swing trade with like 200 shares, okay? So what I would do on this type of setup is I would buy maybe double. In some cases, I buy more if I really like the setup, but let's say I buy 400 shares of this stock. And this is very typical of a trade I might do. The size may differ, but sizes are relative. Don't worry about the size. The key is you're taking a bigger position than you normally would because the setup is really sweet, okay? And so I'm jumping in this with 400 shares, knowing that I want to hold 200 as a core position swing trade. So what I might do is find my next level of resistance, and it might only be, in this case, maybe up to 30. So maybe it's a $3 or $4 trade, and I'm scalping out 200 shares, okay? Now, let's say, just in my example that I'm giving you, I just cleared $800 on those 200 shares, and I still have my core position. So what that allows you to do is really breathe easier because you know you've banged out, you've profited some money, and now I can relax. I'm going to let this core work for me. And what I will do, not only will I let it work for me, but as it's working for me, I will scalp it along the way as well. Now, this is kind of I scalp it in a swing trading time frame, but you could also day trade it as well. But I found that I can really add more bang to the buck if I'm looking for this thing and it's working for me, and I see it holding key patterns like this 20 period moving average right there, right there, right there, right there. You can see the levels it's bouncing at. So what I would do anytime it would pull back there, I would load up again for a scalp or maybe it's a day trade or maybe it's a 3-day hold. Because I have this core position, I'm about to finish up here because we want to definitely talk about Michael's trade the pool offer for you guys. So what this allows you to do though is maintain that core position. And honestly, I did not exit this core position until it broke the 200-day and closed below it, which was right there, which was about almost a double in my core position. So just in my core position alone, if I had traded 200 shares, that would have been 2,800, not to mention the scalping that you could have done along the way. What I'm saying is this can be a very, very profitable style. Look for the setup first, okay? So you can have conviction to jump in a little more than you would normally do for a swing trade with the idea of holding on to that core position until it breaks down. And what I was using was a 20 moving average. I told myself it's holding it, it's holding it. So I held this thing for basically about 4 months until I finally exited my core position right there. So I don't know if we have any questions,
I've been
Chris.
keeping up with them, but one of the things, before we get back to Michael and what Trade the Pool has for them, just to kind of tease into it a little bit, what's so fantastic about this is what Michael and Trade the Pool do is something nobody else does by allowing some overnight holds or percentage of overnight holds. And that's why what you're showcasing here is so phenomenal in that regard, that you can, you can do this with Michael's prop firm, with Trade the Pool, where you couldn't do that with anyone else. You have to, with anybody else that exists out there, you'd have to exit at
Right.
the end of the day, everything. So all of a sudden, you were in this core position during the day and gee, I wish I could have taken some overnight, and you get that 2 or 3 or 4% gap up. And now you're like, I had to give that up. And now I'm chasing, and this
Right.
takes you out of having that chase mode. So it just, just something that they do that's absolutely fantastic. One question that Dan just had was do you readjust your stop along the way to take out some profit?
No, I will use, and that's what makes it easier for you, because you have that core position that you've already scalped out, of that other half. So now you can really breathe easy and be really liberal. Some people may, when it breaks the 10 period moving average, would have gotten out, but no, once it came down here and bounced twice off the 20, I told myself, you know what, that's going to be my bogey right there if it closes below that 20 period moving average. So, that's the key. Look for the setup is the key. And like I said, I don't do this with the setup has to really be pretty, but when it is, and you get this move, there's a really good chance after that kind of volume that you can see a really nice extended move from it.
And so someone's asking, we have a scanner that detects things like this.
You know what? I do have a couple of ones that I call nice setup. Maybe not this week. This is unusual because it was an earnings play and it had an explosive move. I can't tell you when they're going to explode like that, but I can give you a scanner that finds these types of setups for sure. Send me an email.
Yeah, if you can send
no, I can do that. While Michael's talking, let me pull up the. It's no sense in sending it back to you. I will pull this up, and we are going to talk a little bit about what Trade the Pool has to offer, and we're going to look at this screen real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Michael so he can kind of show you the website and go through the program. But you get 100% funded. As a matter of fact, Michael Noss is actually trading with these guys, and I am about to start trading now that they have opened up this swing trading idea where you can hold a core position like I'm talking about. No risk capital, okay? You get free trade ideas paid for by Trade the Pool, okay? And he's going to go over the profit split in the program with you. And don't worry about buying power because he has as much as you're going to need. So, Michael, if you want to, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah.
Chris, can you pass it to him? For some reason, I lost
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got it,
You can
Michael.
go over the program.
Thanks. Okay, sharing my screen. All righty.
See it?
So, yeah, the website. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, guys, the idea, as I mentioned before, we fund stock traders. We actually the only one that doing it completely with 12,000 symbols, stocks and ETFs, obviously, and that's including also shorting penny stocks. And obviously, when you're trading, let's before dive into our program, let's talk a little bit about trading with a prop, right? Because all of you guys right now are trading with a broker, and that's great. But once you trade with a broker, you trade your own capital. In most cases, that capital is not enough to actually perform well or make bigger profit. But besides that, you trade in your own capital, so you're risking your own money. And and I can tell you as a prop trader, I've been before being the CEO of Tradepool, I was the head of the traders in a prop firm in Tel Aviv. And the difference between being a retail trader that risking his own money, after you worked hard to save it, and shifting it to a prop when you're risking someone else's money is mind blowing, because you don't really care about losing someone else's money. And I'm saying it in a good way. Once you don't care about that money or that loss that you're about to take in a trade, your decision making, especially in real time, take a different route, right? Because now you're focusing on actually executing the right trade and not focusing on what's going to be if I'm going to lose that money. How will I bring it back? How will I make it back, right? So this is a really good shift that you can do to yourself as traders, just using someone else's money that you don't really care about his money, basically. And the second thing, as I mentioned, the capital that you take. And besides that, one of the key elements here is that once you trade in with us or any prop firm, you will have risk parameters that's set in stone, right? You have a daily loss, a max loss, you have some other rules to prevent you from blowing the account. And sometimes, or at least at the beginning, we got guys that told us, it's kind of hard to trade with it, or in my retail account, I can do whatever I want. But obviously, in most cases, as you know, retail traders, when trading their own capital, are kind of have it tough, right? And it's kind of hard to stay focused and control your risk. And let's say even if you said to yourself that I'm willing to risk $500 a day, in most cases, if you reach that $500, you will try to continue to trade and revenge trading and all of that. In our case, since it's a prop, you have built-in risk mechanism that prevent you from doing those stuff. So I mean, really, I did both for many, many years as a retail trader and as a prop trader. I can tell you 100%, being a prop trader is better than being a retail trader, and your chances to succeed in the market are much higher. And I'm not just talking about the guys that have been trading for many, many years. We have funded traders that, we call them, or they said it actually, a COVID trader, right? They started from COVID like 2 or 3 years ago, and they actually become funded, making profits, thousands of dollars every month. And this is something incredible that most traders wouldn't be able to do when they trade in their own capital. So let's talk a little bit about how it works for those of you not familiar with the prop industry, and I will take obviously questions later on. So we have 4 tiers. You can choose your own. You pay a one-time fee from $97 all the way to $12.40. Depends on what you want to achieve. The buying power is different between each one of the tiers, right? So 20,000, you can still day trade with the 20,000 because you're basically trading one big pool. We have X amount of money in our account, and you as a trader take a chunk of that, right? You go through the evaluation process. It's on a simulator. You trade in a simulator on the evaluation. Once you pass the evaluation, you become a funded trader. We give you funds and you trade our capital without risking your own money. So generally speaking, let's say you took that mini BP, you bought it, you paid $97. You passed the evaluation, you're making money. The only risk that you ever took was those $97. That's it. The rest is on us. And then, and Andy mentioned, we paying for your subscription of trade ideas, basically. So these are the parameters. Let's say the mini BP with the $97, you have $20,000 buying power. You need to make 1,800. Your max loss, you will be terminated if you reach 900, profit split 50-50, and you have a daily pause of $300. So if you traded and lost $300 on that evaluation, you will start again the next day. You won't be terminated, just start it next day, you come back, refresh, and continue to trade. We also have a growth system where you, as you show us consistency, we increase your buying power and the daily pause. And you have 45, at least for now, 45 days to pass this evaluation. If you saw that you're already making progress, but you didn't reach the goal within 45 days, you can pay the extra $97 and continue to trade for another 45 days. So that's the idea. The change between them, it's the buying power, the split that you're getting, obviously, who big guys that, been trading for a while now, $260,000, that's a great amount of capital to trade on. And you keep 80% to yourself. And we take the 20, the growth is 15%. You do have minimum trades, so we can see that you are a consistent trader. And besides that, besides just trading the platform and trading the evaluation, you can always use our community. We have a very active Discord group. Everyone is helping each other, supporting each other. And obviously, you can see some of the videos from that I did with interviews with the funded traders, where they give you tips and advices on how to pass the evaluation and what is so great about the experience, etc. So once you click on that, you have 14 days free trial, by the way. You have a dashboard that will show you all the trades that you made and the progress within the evaluation. If you reach the funded phase and reach basically the profit target without losing the max loss, then you go through an interview with me or one of the guys here. Once we finish that, you're good to go and you're trading our capital.
Excellent. And again, just to hammer home what Michael was saying about being a prop trader, in the sense of some of the handcuffs and nerves get taken off, where it's not your money you're losing, but at the same time, you still have that sense of, I want to succeed. So you're not just throwing random trades out there. It's really a great way to free your mind a little bit from some of the pressures that you would have, when you're funding yourself. Sorry, Andy, what were you going to ask?
No, I was going to ask, after you pass your evaluation period, where you have that benchmark, you have to reach that level in 45 days. Then there's no more stipulations on the number of days as far as trading and reaching profits, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
In order to withdraw profits, you need to make $300, and you can withdraw your funds every 14 days.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. I tell you, there was nothing around like this around when I was back when I actually had to sell my house to start trading. So I wish there was something like this around. But anyway, well, that's a great job, guys. Let me pull up that last slide, or actually, you want to take it over, Chris, and just pull up that last slide real quick?
Sure. Give me one moment here.
All righty.
To bring up my slides.
In a minute, we'll take those questions, guys.
Oh, no, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
If you can Chris,
do you want to go over them and I'll answer?
Sure. So I
Okay.
got the slides up here, and one of the things that I wanted to also just hit real fast, we didn't do a disclaimer at the beginning, but just in case, nothing we have talked about today is financial advice in any way, shape, matter, or form. We are data and content providers. We are not financial advisors. If you're looking for advice on what to buy, what to sell, what to hold, you need to seek the people out with the licenses for those items there. Here, like I said, we just talked about different setups, plans, scans, so on and so forth to help give you tools for making better decisions that you have to do on your own. Bring up, we've got that here, and then let me bring up our last slide here on questions. So a few different ways to reach the three of us here out there on Twitter, and a link at the bottom, tradethepool.com/the program. And so there are some questions in there, Michael, if you wanted to start hammering away with some of those. There's some ones that maybe Andy or me will also be equipped to answer on that as well.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris. I'm here.
So someone asked, the platform, if Trade the Pool's using Thinkorswim. With Trade Ideas, if you were just a Trade Ideas subscriber, use whoever you want as a broker, because we're not a broker, we're just simply a scanner. The platform for Trade the Pool, Michael will answer better, of course, but that's their own terminal inside there, actually.
Yeah, so it's called Trader Evolution basically, and super friendly platform. You can do anything you want, like in any other platform. So you have all the indicators that you want, the charts. You can detach them and put them in a different screen, and basically do everything you used to on any other platform. So yeah.
Really simple, intuitive platform. There's no real tricks or any, extra crazy bells or buzzers or whistles. I've navigated through it pretty handily, pretty quickly.
I can show it as well if you want to give me the control.
Absolutely.
And pop it up.
Let's bring that back over to you. There you are.
Thanks.
And then let's see what else is in here. We've got a few people asking about having Trade Idea subscriptions already, and then what goes on from there. I don't know if you want to touch on that, Andy, or you want.
I will. I will tell you this: if you have a monthly plan, okay, we have several partners that we've kind of agreed set up a partnership with things like this. And one of the things we had to do, I talked with my accountant and the management here. We cannot get into refunding. If you're on a monthly, you can cancel and then let Trade the Pool pay for your subscription, but you'll have to just use up the rest of the month that you're in. And I'm sorry, on an annual, we cannot be reimbursing. We have a strict policy on that. It just messes up our accounting altogether when we start having to do that. But so you just have to let, if you're on an annual, you'll just have to let it, run out. I'm sorry.
One of the other things to jump in real quick to consider is this too. You have to go through an evaluation phase with Trade the Pool anyways. So
right.
While they will give you trade ideas for a portion of that phase, if you don't make it through on the first time, you won't have trade ideas after that, regardless, without having a straight out subscription. So that would be something to keep in mind before just dropping, canceling, or moving anything else around, regarding those things. So Michael's got that platform up here. He's gonna run through that real quick for us.
Yeah, just real quick. So this is how it looks like. Obviously, you can open the terminal, create a grid, and just build your own stuff, take it to a different screen, whatever it is. The way you work, you can customize everything, colors, whatever. You have Scalper right here, so click of a button, Superdome right here, the market depth, news, everything that you basically need, and also very easy access to our YouTube channel, your dashboard as a trader. Everyone gets a dashboard and you can see the process of your trading. And also we added just a week or so, our funded traders here, the interviews for the guys at least that willing to go on camera. And basically, again, they gave great advices. So this is perfect to just listen to, and get more information on how to trade properly. We have a few scanners here, but in our case, obviously, Trade Ideas will be a perfect set for you regarding the scanners. And we always continue to improve and add more features, but you literally have everything like any other platform, including, of course, hotkeys.
Okay, we're gonna have to wrap it up pretty quick because we've gone way over, and this is gonna be a tough video to render if we keep going. So
let's do it first.
Yeah.
Let's do those quick questions, I guess.
I think we got
available in Canada, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
How many
what is
funded
Trading
traders?
Booster?
What's that?
Trading Booster.
Yeah, a trading booster is basically Trade Ideas. For example, we do have a few more partners like Trader Sync, the trading journal. So once you join Trader Pool, you also get Trader Sync, so you can just import your trades from the platform to Trader Sync, and you will see the journal, like a journal, trading journal, to analyze your stats.
And if you start at the basic level, how can you move up to after you've been approved for trading a while?
Right. So basically, you start and stay within the same tier. So if you started with the mini BP, the $97 with $20,000 buying power, then you get funded and stay with those rules. You do have the growth, as I mentioned, when once you're inconsistent, then we give you more buying power and more daily pause to risk. But if you want to go bigger, then you need to go through the program after you proved yourself. And this is what a lot of the traders do. They will take the mini BP just to pay the small fee. Once they see that they actually been doing that well, they will go to the ultimate buying power, the bigger one, right? They prove themselves, so they feel comfortable to go and use more buying power.
All right.
You can have as many funded accounts as you want.
And then we'll go last question. How many funded traders does Trader Pool have?
So currently we're just a little bit about 100 funded. Obviously we have more on the evaluation phase. Some pass it, some not, of course, like always. But like I said, chances wise, you give yourself much more percentage of success compared to just trading your own capital.
Phenomenal. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Andy.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you very much. We're gonna have to sign off now, and I think yes, those prices and entry prices will remain this is an offer for sure. So the prices you saw is the prices you get one. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're gonna have to wrap it up. So I think that's it for today. Thanks, Michael, so much. It's great content.
Thanks so much, guys.
Y'all have a great day.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Take care.
Take care.